Well, good morning, everybody. I hope you're all doing fantastically well. We're back here with the rumour mill. We're getting sorted, everybody. We're getting ready. It is the January window very, very soon. We don't have any sort of, negative premonitions towards this, but we're going to be getting into your news because it starts building, everybody. And I want to be on top of it at One Leeds HQ with you guys live every single morning at 10 a.m. Yes, everybody, we're going to start doing this most mornings if we can, maybe aside from weekends at 10 a.m. A little bit of consistency for you guys to lock in every single morning. It's not going to be gargantuan. It's not going to be huge. But what it is going to be is it's going to be interesting. There's going to be a lot of discourse and debate. So before we start this video, everybody, we have got, I have to say so myself, an unbelievable Generation Leeds episode. 45 minutes, me and the old boy speaking about everything when it comes to the transfer window, the Leeds squad dynamics right now, and so much more. I genuinely recommend it. Shout out to Luca, who joined last night as well. Well worth it, everybody. The content on there, if I say so myself, is pretty damn good. The merchandise, you've got to check out Back 4 merchandise. We've got Tanaka merchandise out there. And I will say, Gav, you've done a very good job, mate. I'll be sporting that as soon as I get back to the dark side of Manchester, which will be later on today. Check out the sponsors, everybody. IPM Group UK for all your CCTV and surveillance needs. And make sure you check out Football Prizes, of which you've only got 6 more days to get involved, everybody. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Make sure you slap in a like on the video. Morning for Stephen as well. Hey, Connor, looking forward to Larger coming back. Indeed, mate. Morning from Dublin, Connor lad. Hello, Stevie man. How you doing? Stephen's in the building. Hi, Stephen. Morning, Connor. Morning, Sean. Good morning from sunny Munich, Connor. Hello, Gav. Yeah, listen, everybody, Back 4 links in the description below. Okay, so everybody, what I wanted to speak on today was a little bit more generic things and general things. Okay, what I'm going to be doing is not only just speculating to accumulate, but giving my opinion on where I think things might go this January window. We're going to be speaking today about Guilavoggi's comments about Joseph. We're going to be speaking about Rothwell upgrade disrespect, which I'm seeing at this moment in time, which is really annoying me. I've got to get to this. Tanaka to leave in January, and we're going to be speaking about the striker deliberation right now, which is an interesting bit of conversation right now, because for me, yeah, there's one way Leeds should go with this, and I don't necessarily think it's getting a striker. Okay, so straight off the bat, everybody, we're going to be speaking about outgoings. Okay, so January, it's not all about incomings, it's about outgoings as well. We have to facilitate maybe a striker coming in by letting one go. That simply has to happen. So I'm going to take you to Patrick of Bamfordshire on the hills of the JCB. So at this moment in time, I firmly believe Patrick Bamford will be leaving Leeds United in January. I think this is going to happen. And I'm going to give you a few reasons why I think Leeds are going to go in for a number 9. Do I think that's the right move? I don't, and I'm going to get to that why in a second. I think I've come to a certain perspective on what's realistic and what I would rather Leeds do instead. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an understanding of what I think might happen in this month when it comes to Patrick Bamford. So for me, he's going to be pressing for a move. That's what I think. I think there's been an obvious breakup of Bamford and Leeds United over the past sort of 12 months, or probably when, obviously, Daniel Farke's come in. Completely understood from Bamford's side. He's not getting a lot of minutes. He had minutes, didn't he? I don't think he fully took his chance when he got into the side in January last season, I should say last season. Scored the goal against Peterborough, got a couple of others, but he didn't really start to kick on. Obviously, injuries set in, and he's not been able to get out of that once again. And the most precious commodity in football is dependability and reliability, of which Patrick doesn't have. So I'm going to put to you a name of which I think this would fit for both clubs. American ownership on both sides, which I do think plays a part in terms of understanding the part of the deal, but also a relationship between the two parties. A team that at this moment in time is faltering a little bit, a team that has lots of money, and a team for me where Patrick Bamford would fit in and give them almost that next level profile. The team that I'm going to be speaking about is Birmingham City. Now, Birmingham have struggled in the last 3 games. They are looking for the next profile of player consistently. That's been murmured by Wagner at the top of the club. Brady's spoken about getting that next level player in. They seem to be like obsessed with the Premier League movement at this moment in time, like we know American owners can be. And I feel like Patrick Bamford would be a really big name for them to bring in January. Now, what do we do? Do we sell him in January? I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's realistic. But a loan move with Birmingham sort of covering a big portion of that. We know Pat's on about 40 grand a week, with Birmingham covering a portion of that. Obviously, they're not right now in problematic situations with FFP because they're not in the Championship, they're in League One, so they're able to spend a little bit more frivolously. And I feel Patrick Bamford is that big name of which would be perfect for Birmingham City right now. They've got Alfie May up top, they've got Jay Stansfield up top, but they don't have that Lucas Jukovic anymore. They don't have that profile of which is a big man playing up top. And when I say that, everybody, it's not just, I'm not just being reductionist here. I'm not just saying that's what Pat Bamford is. His link-up play is very good. You know, his creation when he's on the ball, especially at League One level, would be decent. Now, Jukovic is still there. However, he's only played one game for them. So I do wonder whether or not it's a really good short-term fix for both parties. No committed terms for Birmingham City, but they're bringing in a big name with an option to buy if he does well and stays fit. And Leeds United getting a little bit off the wage budget, allowing a centre-forward to then come in and be part of proceedings. Because what we've got to look at right now, everybody, is if you're a centre-forward, there's no reason right now, if you are a centre-forward at coming into Leeds United, why on earth would you? You know, why on earth would you decide to do that? Why would you decide to do that? It doesn't really make sense with Bamford being that third striker. So Leeds have got to attract someone. Joseph and Peru are the starts. We know that. But when it comes to that third striker, you're going to get teams looking at it and saying, well, Patrick Bamford's there. You know, it's not just about Joe Gelhardt moving on. It's about Bamford. It's about moving that third piece, to be honest with you. Tanya's just said, why would anyone take Pat? He's injured all the time. It's a really good point. I think this is very, very reliant on him being fit and him getting back to that level and then Birmingham making a move on him. As I say, guys, this is all very, very hypothetical. I don't think that teams at this level would make a move on Patrick Bamford. I don't think that will happen because of that reason. And because of the fact right now, I don't actually think he's good enough for a Championship side, but maybe with a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction for a 6-month loan, you'd get a Birmingham City who are desperate to get back to the Championship, bringing a big profile in for League One, and someone like Patrick Bamford on a 6-month deal, I don't think would be too bad. Ina says, will never happen. Birmingham is stacked. I guess if you have a look, Ina, at their starting or their front line, I should say. There's Lyndon Dykes, who's still there. Jukovic isn't getting a lot of games, but neither's Dykes. I don't know if he's been injured. Jay Stansfield and Alfie May are the others as well. But when you look at the profile of Stansfield and May, none of them are what Patrick Bamford is. Patrick Bamford is a certain profile of striker. Alfie May and Jay Stansfield are very, very different strikers to what he is. So yeah, obviously we know that he has to get back to full fitness. John said in the comment section below, Paddy would be suited to the USA or Saudi. I think that's a really good way of looking at it as well. But I've just got a feeling with Pat Bamford that he wants one more crack at it. He wants to prove people wrong. And I think that's why, you know, maybe a team like Birmingham City would be a decent option for him. Okay, I'd love Pat Bamford's job. Bit of training every day, 8K in the bank of the week. What's not to like? Remy says they did look poor up front when I watched them at the Stags. Yeah, I mean they're just not good right now up top, and it is just Jay Stansfield performing. You know, when you've got Alfie May getting 5 goals in 14, I think they're going to look up top, and you've got to feel that when you are a Birmingham City owner, someone like Patrick Bamford, if fit, on a 6-month loan, so you take away that risk, really, would be a good move for them, but we'll have to wait and see. Okay, let's have a quick look at the January target as well. So I wanted to speak about Tanaka, and I think this is a big one. And obviously, you know, this is something that's going to be quite prevalent in the window. This boy is frighteningly good. He's got an abundance of man of the matches, player of the matches, I should say. And at this moment in time, it's a bit frightening what he's doing at this level. Now, he's got to 26, 27 years of age, and he's still playing at sort of second tier level, which is staggering for me. Obviously, he has played in the Bundesliga, but for me, it's pretty staggering that nobody's picked him up yet. And I think we can all come to that understanding. Now, I am a little bit worried about him. I'm enjoying Tanaka, but I am very, very worried about him. And I think there's clubs in and around Europe right now who are looking for a technical midfielder. And I think there are clubs right now who it's very abundantly clear that, as I've just mentioned, they're scouring the market. So what do we know? Tanaka is the best player in the Championship. Is that going to bring with it interest? It will, naturally. And I think, personally, you're going to get maybe teams testing the market, asking the question about Tanaka. Do I think Leeds will let him go? I don't think Leeds will let him go. I think that would be suicide. Although Leeds might think we've got Ampadu and Gruev and Rothwell in there. That's sustenance enough. Do I think that'll happen? And Guilavogui? I don't, guys. I think it's going to take a crazy offer. But what is a crazy offer to Leeds United in the Championship? Is it 15, 20 million? Is it more than that? Who knows? They brought him in for 3.4 million. That'd be a tasty profit. His contract is till 2028. And I think Leeds have to be reluctant here. I think, look, this is obvious. But the sort of three clubs that I'm looking at this moment in time, domestically, as in, just in the English pyramid, who require a player just like Tanaka. I think Crystal Palace, they will be, as I've mentioned previously, scouring the market for a technical midfielder right now. And someone like him, they've got previous of going to the Championship, haven't they, and picking up players, especially in that midfield area, Eze, Elise, Will Hughes, amongst many. I don't think the January market's gonna sort of veer them away from doing that. And I'm not touting him out here, everybody. I think this is something that Leeds are going to have to face in January in terms of knocking back interest. Another team is Frankfurt, who have expressed interest in Tanaka before. They've had scouts go and watch him. They're doing extremely well at that level. And what they've built at Frankfurt is just literally an entire basin of technical midfielders. And the other one, the prominent one, is AC Milan, who right now just seem to be rumoured with every single midfielder on the market, but they don't have a lot of money. They do not have a lot of money right now, and neither and Serie A clubs have been looking really in the market at sort of bottom end Premier League and Championship players for a while now. So I think Borussia Mönchengladbach are another one, but I think it's probably more likely that we're seeing some players be of interest this January, and I actually believe Tanaka is going to be one of those. But I think Leeds will be reluctant, but I think they're going to. This is the problem with not getting to the Premier League, not getting to the Premier League, but being at the summit of the division right now, I think is going to be a really big advantage for Leeds, because Tanaka can see, he's like, look, we are the best team in the division. Stay with us, fella. We'll get to the Premier League, and this will be a much sweeter taste up top. Williamson is, and a fan favourite, being played on the wing at the minute. He is Einer, and that's a big problem, isn't it? Sujal says, shoot me down if you will, but I'm thinking Tanaka's level is above any of our midfielders, including the captain. That's exactly right. And I think this is why he's gonna garner a little bit of interest in January. And I think maybe some clubs will maybe put a bid in there for Leeds United. Leeds bought him for 3.4 million quid. We're not looking round and now saying that that's what he's worth, but there will be clubs thinking, well, do you know what? We're going to test that. And what is sort of 10 million to a Frankfurt and an AC Milan, and especially to a Crystal Palace, a Premier League club who will be the richest out of Frankfurt and AC Milan, which is crazy nowadays, isn't it? But let's have a little look at some of the other bits as well. So I want to talk about this morning, everybody, the interesting comments from Guilavogui, and we haven't mentioned it on the channel, but he compared Matteo Joseph earlier on last week or a couple of days ago to Osimhen, and is absolutely stunned by his ability. Now, you guys all know my thoughts on this. I don't really get how we sort of can't cultivate a little bit of an environment around Matteo Joseph like we did in pre-season. I feel like when there's a little bit more consistency with Bogle, with Nonto, with Ramazani, with Firpo, that's really, really going to aid the centre forward, because it's going to be cutback city. And you guys know that is how you facilitate the best of Matteo Joseph. It's the cutbacks. Has he been missing big chances for Leeds United? 100%. But I just feel that, he's snatching at chances because he's a young player and he's trying to impress, and he's probably seeing what everybody's saying on social media as well. So for me, it's a big period for Matteo Joseph, because if Leeds do go in for another number 9, it's a bit of an indictment on him as well. Because if you think about it, if Leeds do go for that number 9 spot, then it's pretty obvious that they don't trust in Matteo Joseph. Joel Peru has got 9 goals this season. He's got 6 goals this season, and if they go for a number 9, will that put his nose out of kilter a little bit? But competition breeds success, and this is something that I've been mentioning as well with the goalkeeper, but you just don't have a person behind Illan Meslier who is going to push Illan Meslier all the way, whereas with Joseph and Peru, it's really healthy competition. So listen, guys, for me, I don't think Leeds should be going for a number 9. I think Leeds with a little bit of consistency and quality in and around Matteo Joseph, who I think should be starting for Leeds, and gives Leeds a lot more than Joel Peru does. I think there's a tried and tested method. Peru coming off the bench, Joseph starting games. I think if you cultivate that environment around Matteo Joseph, like we did in pre-season when it was a little bit more consistent and there wasn't chopping and changing all the time, I think you're going to get more, more consistency from Matteo Joseph, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. And what I wanted to speak about as well is the form is big, of which I can understand Leeds going for another number 9. But also, you look at Burnley, who's their top scorer, Josh Brownhill, 5 goals. Latte Lath has scored, I think, 2 hat-tricks in his last 3 games or whatever it's been. He's now on 7 goals. And look, that is form, isn't it? But at the end of the day, he's only done that in his last couple of games. You've got Peru, who's on 6 goals throughout the season. You've got Isidore at Sunderland, who's on 5 goals. And you've got Tyrese Campbell at Sheffield United, who's on 4 goals. So it's not like we're having right now a Borgia signs for all of the top 4 clubs who scored 11 goals. There's not a Josh Madger. There's not those players who's got, 10 goals. So in the front 4 right now of this division, none of us have got prolific scorers. Can Leeds take advantage by going and getting a proper scorer in the window? 100%. But who is that? I've mentioned Lidberg at Dresden, and a lot of people shot that down because he's not a player at this level, but he's playing at Bundesliga 2. He's smashing it right now. He's got 9 goals in 13 appearances and 4 assists. That would be a lovely signing. Cheap value, 1 million on transfer market. Could we do something like that? Maybe. But you've got to look at that period. But you've got to also look at how these are going to be integrated with this Leeds United front line. Is Bamford going to go? Is Gelhardt going to go? Is that even a possibility? Because then if they're not to go, can you bring in a 5th body up top? I'm not 100% Leeds can do that. I'm not 100% sure on that. Martin says, Connor, if you let Tanaka go, who would you replace him with? Martin, I would be locking him in everything. I think if they let Tanaka go, that would be a horrific indictment on the 49ers right now. But the whole point of this video, mate, is will there be interest in Tanaka? Could there be bids for Tanaka in the January period with him literally? Let's not be naive here. He's the best player in the division. So will there be interest in him? Yeah. Could there be bids? Yeah. We know how good he is. But at the end of the day, they can't do that. They can't do that for me. John says, do we send Joseph out on loan to a Spanish club in January? I just feel it's weakening you, and we've not. I'll say this until I go blue in the face, but we've just not given him a chance, have we? He's been rash. He's trying to score goals. We saw that against Sheffield Wednesday, Portsmouth, and we saw that the other night. But is he getting an abundance of chances? Would you say he's getting an abundance of chances of which he's turning around and going, but how's he not scoring 4 or 5 in this game? He's not really, is it? It's the one chance where he's been a little bit rash. And I understand that's what a striker should do. Do I think he needs to improve? Of course he does. But I just think there's a real indictment, even when Guilavogui come in and said he's like Osimhen and he's stunned by how good he is. You're getting him going away with the guys, I'm smashing my head against a brick wall here, but you're getting him going away with the 21s and scoring pretty much all the time. You're getting the Spanish manager saying that he's on national team watch. The Spanish manager, bearing in mind they beat England in the cup final. Yeah, they're looking at him. They're keeping an eye on him. So what's going wrong right now at Leeds United? This is what I'm saying. We're all looking at Joseph. Have we got to look at a little bit more than that? Have we got to look at the environment, the atmosphere, the team around him? He's a young player. Have we got to look at that? And I'd understand, look, people comparing him to Pat Bamford, right? If he wasn't doing it for anyone else, like Pat Bamford's not, if he wasn't available, like Pat Bamford, then you kind of look at it and you go, well, I've got no leg to stand on here. But Joseph's got, a new player coming in who's been with him for a month and saying that he's at this level. You're getting the Spanish national manager as of a month ago, looking at him and it being reported in Spanish newspapers that he could get a call up to the national team very, very soon. And this is with his goal scoring record right now, by the way. And you're seeing what he did in pre-season for us. And Daniel Farke essentially saying that he's the number 9 for this season. What are we not doing that's not facilitating him? That's what I'd be looking at. Bearing in mind he's 19, 20 years of age. I think that's something that we need to look at as a group, to be honest. But could Al leave? What is going on? No, I don't think he can leave, to be honest, mate. I don't think he can. Well, he can leave. I mean, yeah, he can leave, but I don't think he will leave. Okay, let's have a quick move on anyway in terms of Joseph. But yeah, is there right now a prolific scorer in the top 4 in this division? No, there isn't, and that's a good thing for Leeds United. Where do I think we need to be going? Well, when you've got Joseph or Peru, whatever you guys want to do, if you've got Firpo, you've got Ramazani, you've got Bogle, you've got Nonso. It's the best 2 sides in the division, okay? And if you've got that consistently, no injuries, no suspensions, none of that, if you've got that consistently, we're going to be hitting the byline more. There's going to be a lot more quality on either side, okay? I think with Ramazani, we're going to get more goals as well. He got 3 goals in 6. He's a better striker of the ball than anyone in our team, in my opinion, with both feet. Ramazani being back is going to be huge for our goal production and our assist production as well. I think where you need to be looking at in this January window is a central attacking midfielder. That's where I think we should be looking at ahead of a number 9. If you go for a number 9, in my opinion, in January, you turn around and you've said we've failed. We started the season with a number 9 who is 19 years of age, has destroyed it in pre-season, has looked really good, is getting indictments from everywhere, and we're just now sort of giving up on it, and we're going to go out and try again with another number 9. Has he had time to prove it? That's a question. And even Peru had time to prove it. I don't know. Maybe there's a yes or a no question there. This season, it's been Joseph, and then it's been Peru. Joseph, Peru. How can you build up that consistency with that sort of, in and outness? But for me, you go for a central attacking midfielder. Daniel Farke at Norwich had lightning in the bottle. He had Buendia and Timu Pukki. Timu Pukki, he was the best free transfer, I think, of all time. Emi Buendia, they bought in, I think it was from Cultural Leonesa for about 1.25 million. Emi Buendia was a joke. Pablo's level. A joke. Okay? And annoyingly, he was a lot younger than Pablo, wasn't he, when Norwich had him at this level? Even though we got Pablo, I think, for free, did we? Can't quite remember. I think we did. So maybe some people would say that's the best free transfer of all time. But I think overall that central attacking midfield that unlocks Leeds United, it unlocks Peru, it unlocks Joseph. I think it unlocks the wing backs to be able to facilitate that striker. I think a central attacking midfielder in this side is absolutely massive. And I think if we do that, and a central attacking midfielder who can score goals as well, but where do you get it? Where do you get your Emi Buendias? Where do you get your Pablo Hernandez? I think it's really difficult to do that. But I think if you've got the right scouts and you go out and bring in a central attacking midfielder, that'll do wonders for Leeds United. But that's the position for me. A central attacking midfielder, and as you guys know, I'm going with a goalkeeper. But a central attacking midfielder right now for me is more prevalent than a striker. I think a cam unlocks low blocks, of which we will face in the second half of the season, especially with teams trying to stay up and they're trying to vie for points, and it becomes more pressurized. A central attacking midfielder unlocks all this. I think Ramazani is massively going to help like Brendan Aronson in that role, because he's going to cultivate space. Players are going to be attracted to him, then they're going to be attracted to Nonto on the other side, and it's going to give Brendan Aronson a little more in that zone. But I don't think he's got the technical ability of some of the cams in this division, or some of the cams that have been in this division. I like Brendan, but he's not of that ilk, and we all know that. And there's a reason Leeds were going for a cam in the summer. There's a reason, obviously. So for me, that is the position. And then, at the end of the season, we can turn around and say, well, it was all on number 9's fault. If Peru continues to be inconsistent when it comes to hold up, when it comes to press, when it comes to being involved in a game, and Joseph continues to squander chances, we can turn around at the end of the season and say that. But I genuinely believe a central attacking midfielder will really, really help those passing lanes for a Matteo Joseph who's constantly on the last man. It might even help Joel Peru. And I think that's the big miss right now for me. But I would definitely be prioritizing a cam over a striker. I think that's way more essential. Also, there's a few, and do you know what, everybody, as well, a little bit more of a stat view as well. We have one player in the top 13 when it comes to assists. Who's that? Willie Nonto. That's it. So at this moment in time, you need another player, really top of that charts for a team who's going to be topping the charts toward the back end of the season, especially when you haven't got strikers at the minute who are prolific. Okay, so Joe Gelhardt. Now, this is another name that we've all been speaking about. It's another name that right now is I think Joe will be leaving Leeds United. Now, who is the big rumoured teams that have been looking at Joe over the past X amount of years? It has been Celtic, it's been Rangers, where I think up there he'd do really well at maybe a slower level. A more technical player like him, I think, would do well in the spaces, in the pockets, in the SPL. But also Hull City. We remember Hull City essentially had a bid for him. I believe it was rejected, or Gelhardt couldn't agree terms with them. And they're still struggling right now and really need a player like Joe Gelhardt. So your Celtics and your Rangers, I think, will be perfect for Joe Gelhardt. But would he like to stay a little bit closer to home? He's obviously got a little bit of a life now in Leeds as well. Going to somewhere like Hull isn't going to be a relocation thing for him. If you're Celtic and Rangers, we know Celtic and Rangers have got a real sort of a link with Merseyside as well, where Joe's from, so that might help. I think he grew up a Liverpool fan, didn't he? So that might help. Kenny Dalglish, etc. But then he might go to the other side in Graham Souness, who knows? But I think they're really, really good moves for Joe Gelhardt. I think they'll put up the money. And you look at maybe a Hull City, and Hull might be looking for a loan. I don't think Leeds look for a loan now. I don't think Leeds looked for a loan. I don't see the point in Leeds doing that. Okay, Leeds set to rival, as you can see, latest tweets. Leeds set to rival Liverpool and Arsenal for exciting left back amid Junior Firpo doubts. Leeds United considering signing Right, here we go. Nordjylland. Scandies, how good was that? Nordjylland. Let me know. Because I think, listen, I've got a Scandi mate, and he reckons I've got an all right pronunciation, but Nordjylland. Let me know, was that good? Nordjyllands, Daniel Svensson. Now, listen, guys, Daniel Svensson, part of the Scandi gang, of which are thriving at this moment in time, of which Lidberg is as well. You know, obviously, I mentioned him on a stream as a striker that we should be targeting. But look, he's a player right now who's been touted by Liverpool. He's been touted by Arsenal. He can play defensive midfield. He can play left back. But this throws up another point. What are Leeds doing being linked with left backs? Well, I'll tell you what, and some of you might be quite surprised by this. With the contract status that Junior Firpo is in right now, you can get clubs from overseas actually putting together a pre-contractual agreement for Junior Firpo. That might surprise a lot of you, but it depends on the options that he's going to be having. We know that Junior Firpo's contract does expire. We need to give him a new contract in the summer. And I think he deserves a new contract in the summer, albeit Leeds even been in the Premier League and getting another left back, a quality left back to help Junior. 2 players in every position, all that sort of stuff. But right now, this needs to happen at this moment in time. It seems to be ebbing and flowing all the way to the summer months, really. Ina says no. Damn it, Ina. I thought I had it. Damn it. But yeah, look, I think the Junior Firpo conversation is really interesting. I think Leeds have got to give him a new contract. I think Schmidt being in there as backup is very good. Byram as sustenance as well is probably the best 3 that you're going to get at this level, especially with what we've seen with Schmidt, the reputation, the games that he's played, you know, on the European circuit as well. And as I just mentioned, the reputation that he has. I think this is a real non-story for me. And Svensson's been linked with Leeds United for the best part of a week now. I just don't see this as a thing. But maybe, guys, maybe the 49ers see this differently. Which would be very interesting, you know, when it comes to a contract. Maybe Firpo's demanding certain things, or maybe he's just waiting around and seeing what happens and seeing what offers come in. But I would like to see Leeds United do something like that for me, you know, just get him sorted, get him pinned down. I've loved Firpo this year. The resurgence of his career has been one of my great pleasures as being a Leeds United fan this season. Good point, Connor. I love the new icons at the bottom of the screen, Connor. Good man, Dan. Yeah, we're gonna keep that coming, mate, every single day. Good morning. Hi, Jan. Hope you're good. Let's have a look. Michael said, Rich, Brandon, the errors and turnovers he forces are more than enough for this team in this division. If he had it, Prem or top tier Europe, I think you're talking about Aronson there. Elmi's right as well. I think technically Gelhardt is a better player than Aronson, but Aronson offers so much more overall. Listen, guys, we're going to leave it there. This is all it's going to be, a 30-minute spell, really, every single morning. And obviously, we're going to have games coming up, aren't we? But if you enjoy the live stuff, make sure you slap a like. I know there's a lot of you just enjoy the short snippets. Let me know in the comment section below what you prefer. But yeah, guys, I'd like to start doing a few live streams again. We're going to be back tomorrow with the watch along, with the instant match reaction. It's been an absolute pleasure. Head on over to the Patreon if you found some bonus content. As I said, make sure you like the video. I'll see you in a bit, guys. Cheers.